A recent paper from Google DeepMind researcher Alexander Lerchner, titled The Abstraction Fallacy, advances a provocative philosophical argument by challenging computational functionalism. It asks a provocative question: can computation alone produce consciousness? Lerchner argues that consciousness is not the output of computation, it's actually the precondition. Abstract computation isn't a natural property. It requires a conscious agent to assign meaning. So no matter how complex AI becomes, it cannot spark experience from computation alone. He argues that computation cannot reverse engineer conscious life. Yet the paper doesn't shut the door on artificial consciousness grounded in the right physical makeup. When we lose someone, our embodied grief gets abstracted into the word sadness. Once that concept enters an AI model, it becomes nothing but binary code, just flickers of voltage. So the path runs from raw experience to consciousness to algorithm to voltage. The AI isn't grappling with the feeling of sadness. It's just processing voltage patterns. It has no inner understanding of what loss feels like. That's the unbridgeable gap. The algorithm can follow the voltage trail, but it can't reverse engineer the lived, aching experience that gave the word its meaning in the first place. Consider an inkjet printer. When you input the word sadness, it prints it perfectly, just black toner arranged on paper. But for the printer, that pattern means absolutely nothing. It's just a physical pattern, not an understanding. The printer's algorithm can't reverse engineer the feeling of sadness. There's an unbridgeable gap between the algorithm and consciousness, lived experience. Without having felt loss, no amount of symbolic output gets you to the real thing. Only someone who has actually felt sadness, the real hormonal and emotional shift, can truly understand the word. In the paper, computation isn't considered an intrinsic property of the natural world. Nature has no alphabet, no binary digits, just continuous, unlabeled motion. Algorithms, Lerchner contends, are something conscious subjects forcibly impose onto that flux. So every algorithm requires an outside conscious agent to set its rules and assign meaning. The symbols themselves are lifeless. They gain significance only through a mind that already knows what it means to hurt, to long, to lose. That's why no matter how perfectly a printer renders the word, it's still just toner on paper. So large language models can output or even define sadness, but they don't understand it. Lacking any inner experience, they cannot grasp why abstract algorithms were given meaning in the first place. To them, sadness is just a pattern of symbols. They have no knowledge of what the emotion actually feels like. The paper argues that those who think AI models can become conscious are making a fundamental error. According to Lerchner, they mistakenly assume consciousness is simply a result of computation. Instead, the paper contends that consciousness is the precondition that makes computation possible in the first place. A conscious subject must first abstract concepts from concrete experience. Only then can algorithms be created. This process is a one-way street. It cannot be run backward. As an analogy, imagine expecting passing clouds to spontaneously spell a meaningful phrase, like hello. Clouds can't conjure up that kind of conscious intent. In the same way, algorithms alone can't bootstrap themselves into awareness. They require an external, conscious agent to imbue them with meaning. Lerchner also pushes back against the notion that consciousness simply emerges. Think about physical emergence. A drop of water is wet, an ocean majestic. Both are physical processes, grounded in a real substrate. AI models, however intricate, run on physical hardware. But Lerchner argues that physical implementation alone doesn't make symbols meaningful. While consciousness might arise from suitable physical constitution, computation alone can't bootstrap awareness. Without an external source of meaning, computation is insufficient. Consciousness, he contends, requires a physical foundation. Algorithms are products of consciousness, not its source. Expecting algorithms to spontaneously generate awareness ignores the gulf between computation and lived experience. Clouds can't spell a meaningful message without conscious intent. That, in his view, is the fallacy of emergent consciousness from computation alone. Lerchner escalates his argument to a higher plane, directly challenging the belief that algorithms form reality's foundation. He sees algorithms not as the world's underlying code, but as descriptive tools crafted by conscious minds. For him, consciousness isn't something computation can generate. Rather, experience is what makes computation possible in the first place. This is his pointed rejection of computationalism, the view that mind emerges from information processing. He calls it an abstraction fallacy, confounding the map with the territory. This isn't semantics. It's a thoroughgoing denial that consciousness can ever be captured by code alone.